The Oregon Ducks walked into Happy Valley and walked out with a win. There were so many people that were doubting whether this was going to happen. It was never in doubt. It was never in doubt. We are going to break down this whole thing. And you know, as college football's honesty broker, I have to tell the truth. But also at the same time, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You know, your boy went to Oregon. I care about this game, but that does not mean that the truth will not be told. All right. So, first and foremost, let's look at this Oregon team. This is a young team. Dante Moore, he's getting a start. They got two freshmen starting at corner. They got freshman running backs doing outstanding things. And they go into Happy Valley. And one of the things that people had questions about, they were wondering if this young team was going to be able to handle these big moments. And I said from the jump before the season even started, everything was in Penn State's favor this season. Drew Allar, third year quarterback. You got Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton coming back. You went in the transfer portal and you got wide receivers. You got a defense. Dennis Sutton. You got everything that you need. James Franklin, stability. You got Colt Nicky as your offensive coordinator. You went out and got a new defensive coordinator. And everything is in Penn State's favor. Everything to win a national championship this year. And I told you from jump, I did not believe in them, not one single solitary second, because James Franklin did exactly what he always does. It is, if you pay attention to the way that, like, there was no aggressiveness from Penn State until they got down 14 points. He comes out so timid in these games, man. If no risk it, no biscuit. He is always on defense. That's why he can't win these big games. And then he's got a quarterback in Drew Allar. And remember, this is the honesty part. This has nothing to do with Oregon winning or anything like this. Because if you have been watching this show for any point in time, I have told you there is nothing about Drew Allar that looks like an NFL quarterback except for his body. Everybody keeps, oh, he's Josh Allen. No, he's not. No, he's not. Oh my God, he showed so much grit at the end of the game. Look at those runs he was fighting and all this stuff. Man, the man finished with 9 carries for 42 yards. And the reality is that those were like passes, and then he's like, oh, I don't have anything else, or I'm too scared to throw the ball. And so either one of two things is true about Penn State. Either they don't trust Drew Allar, which is clear. They don't even want to let the dude throw the football. He threw the ball 25 times today for 137 yards. How on earth is that supposed to be the number one overall pick? You won't even trust him to throw the football. Everything has got to be tricky, tricky, tricky. Like you can't just drop back and make a read. Like everything has to be a gadget play for Penn State. And yes, when you are a team built a certain way, when you think about how Jim Harbaugh built Michigan, they were run first, run first. There's nothing wrong with being run first. There isn't. But when you gotta, but your dude has to be a dude sometimes. And Drew Aller is just not that dude. It is time to, that ship has absolutely sailed. And y'all can say, yes, it's a long season, all this stuff. Yes, you are 100% right. But as far as who Drew Aller is, this is who he is. He's not special. He's not. His body is special. He's, looked like Tarzan, played like Jane. All right, so let's get to the why this game was so big. First of all, it was clear for 3.5 quarters, Oregon was the best team on the field. But this is where you have to learn how to win as a young team, new starters. This is where you have to learn how to win. They got up 17-3. Dan Lanning was excited, and then they relaxed. They relaxed. And you do have to give Penn State some credit for fighting. But even on that last drive, it was like if you were a Penn State fan, you had to feel like, oh my God, dude, we're picking up. Oh my God, he ran for 3 yards. Okay, he fell for it. Now we got 3 more yards. Now we got three. It just felt like you were inching your way down. It didn't feel like any type of domination. It just felt like, okay, some things are going our way right now. So they finished the game with 35 carries, 139 yards, and 4.0 yards per attempt, 4 yards per attempt rushing the football. So Oregon had to learn how to win football games, how to get up and close. But this is where you learn so much about your team. Penn State learned their team will not quit. Oregon learned we got to finish games. We can't make a Harkey can't make a personal foul penalty because the margins are thin. But Oregon's a better team. They are a better coach team in terms of being ready for the moment. Because there is a reason why James Franklin is what 4-18 or whatever it is versus top 10 teams, top 15 teams. There's a reason because he does not understand how to get out of his own way. And this Penn State offense, nothing about this team is a national championship team. Now, let's go to the Oregon side for a minute because I have to apply. And you guys make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend about the show. Dante Moore, this was his coming out party because one of the biggest questions that I had about Dante Moore was after he left UCLA. And I'm not even going to sugarcoat it because I was at the Rose Bowl when he sat his ass down on the field, when he got his helmet knocked off and he got his helmet knocked off and he was sitting there on the ground and just pouting. He had the shiesty on. And I was like, man, oh man, this kid he got his heart pumped Kool-Aid maybe. And then, oh Lord. Hey, dude, I'm live right now. I gotta go. I'll call you back. Duck player right there trying to celebrate. Anyways, so Dante Moore at UCLA, I saw that happen, and then my next thing is I was like, okay, he transfers out. And this is where I initially got in on Dante Moore because when he transferred out, he could have gone anywhere to go start and play immediately. But instead, he went to Oregon. He knew he was going to sit behind Dylan Gabriel, mature, learning. And if you watched any of those Oregon documentaries and everything, the updates they do, Dan's been pumping leadership into this kid for 2 years. And then the moment showed up, that's why he was so emotional after the game because he knew what was inside of him. And I have been there and I can explain to you how this feels. When you know what's inside of you and people around you and the noise around you is questioning you, and then you come up big in a moment and you know how hard it was, and you're like, oh, I am that. I am him. And so that's Dante. He grew up in front of our eyes. Good on him. 29 for 39 for 249. I'm sorry, 248, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in 111,000 people. And what you got? 105,000 of them Penn State fans. First of all, Penn State fans do an excellent job with the 96,000 season ticket holders. They don't even let nobody else in the stadium. I love it. Applaud that activity. But this Ducks team, honestly, if you are a college football fan, this should be scary as hell to you because De'Aaron Hill, true freshman running back, 10 carries, 82 yards. That's 3 more years of that. Well, 2 more after this. DeCorian Moore, 7 catches, 89 yards. Major factor in the game. Matters. Gary Bryant Jr., USC transfer. Impactful. 6 catches, 55 yards, and a tutty. Kenyon Sadiq, impactful, blocking. Dude, you had so many young players. You even had Jamari Johnson transfer in from Louisville, come in with a big touchdown in a moment that could have, derailed it. But you know what everybody is saying? Everybody is talking about how this isn't Drew Allar's fault. Oh my God, Drew Aller was so great. We will get to that in a minute. But see, and for Oregon fans, they were so happy and we were so happy because this was a call that actually went the Ducks' way on that Noah Whittington fumble. Then they went to commercial and I was like, oh my God, please let his knee have been down. Please let his knee have been down. Now, I'm not even going to get mad at Noah Whittington because he missed the last two games. He probably shouldn't have been out there. In that sort of game with no playing time the last few weeks because not being fully healthy, and then he fumbled, but that's not bad. This was a monumental win for Oregon because not because nobody's expecting them to win or anything. No, that's not why. The great teams and the great programs, it travels. And the great programs and the great teams find ways to win. Look at what happened in Tuscaloosa right now. The Alabama found a way to win versus Georgia. Georgia tried to come back, but Alabama found a way to win. And they have beaten Georgia 10 out of the last 11 games. This is a monumental time in Oregon football. And I'm telling you right now, this is not if Oregon is ever going to win a national championship, this is when. And Dan Lanning is him. And the wonderful part about it is that I remember when he first got hired. Well, when he was getting ready to get hired, LSU's uh, wide receiver coach slash pass game coordinator. His name is Cortez Hankton. You can look it up. He was my teammate in Jacksonville. He was at Georgia during those national championship years as the wide receiver coach. When I heard Dan Lanning was probably going to be the head coach there, I called Cortez and I said, Tez, what up, bro? What do you know about this dude? I said, if my son were, if he were able to go to Oregon, would you stake our friendship on Dan Lanning? He said 100%. This dude is solid as he was like, forget football. This dude is solid as a human being. And he was like, as a football coach, that's a whole nother story. He was like, the dude knows what he's doing. And when you look at how he cares about the players, and then the mentality that is instilled in there, and this is the difference between what USC has right now with Lincoln Riley, and the difference between what you have at Oregon with Dan Lanning. USC was trying to get out of playing Notre Dame. Oh, we don't know if we should play them. It'll be easy to make the college football playoff. Dan Lanning is like, I don't care who we play. Line them up in the parking lot. Let's play right now. I like my guys. Teams embody, especially after multiple recruiting cycles and everything, they embody the heart and soul of their head coach. And if your head coach has no fear and no flinch, your team will have no fear and no flinch. That doesn't mean that you will win every single game that you go out there, but it does mean that you will have more success. So let's break down some of these stats on how this took place. So, Katron Allen was actually first Nick Singleton, who's the number 10, 11 carries, 21 yards, 1.9 yards per carry. Oregon absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage for 3.5 quarters. For 3.5 quarters, this was a mismatch, and some of it was because Penn State. I got to be honest, like Penn State was too stubborn and too conservative. But what other case can you make than they don't trust Drew Allar? Like, and everything's got to be tricky. Katron Allen did a nice job. 12 carries, 54 yards, touchdown, 4.5 yards a carry. Um, their wide receivers, 14 carries, but 14 catches. Singleton had 3. The wide receiver and Katron Allen had 2. So you got 9 catches for your wide receivers. You went in the portal to get these good dudes, and then you won't even use them. So Oregon was 6 for 18 on third down. Penn State was 6 for 15, which was good. Penn State was 3 for 3 on fourth down, and Oregon was 5 for 7. That's a lot of aggressiveness going on in the game. Oregon averaged 5.4 yards per play. Penn State 4.6. Average yards per completion 8.6 for Oregon, 9.8 for Penn State. And then, so it was time of possession. I know people talk about it, but it is the least factor in terms of, like, it doesn't have a correlation between winning and losing the way that people think it does, but it was 33-52 to 26-08. Oregon had 2 sacks, 5 tackles for loss. Penn State only had 1 tackle for loss. This was a dominating performance, even though the score didn't necessarily say so. So let's look at the Penn State drives: punt, turnover on downs, field goal. Then they had sorry, excuse me. Punt, field goal, punt, 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 touchdown, 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 interception. Oregon's went punt, turnover on downs, field goal attempt, a missed field goal attempt, field goal, and then touchdown, touchdown, punt, turnover on downs, touchdown, touchdown. That's how you close out games. This was just good because Oregon had 11 total drives. 5 of them scored. Penn State had 10, and 4 of them scored. Penn State had 2 drives that were 10 plus plays. Oregon had 4, and here's another one. Oregon had 0 3 and outs, 0 3 and outs, and then you had Penn State have 3 3 and outs. You guys can hop in the chat, leave your comments in there, and I will answer them. Oh, what did y'all think of that play? Did y'all believe that was targeting? Now, because targeting is something that I believe has been adjudicated and just done so poorly in like in college football. You don't know what's targeting, what is not, but that did look like a vicious hit. Now, he did lead with it with his head, but I'm a believer. Like, I hate the targeting rules in general because I think that offensive players actually put themselves in trouble a lot more. I would rather see them not kicked out. I would rather there be 2 types of targeting. That one of them's a personal foul, and then another one is a kick out of the game. Like, if it's a vicious hit and it was just clear as day and you launched and you were trying to hurt somebody, then you should get kicked out of the game. So the other part about this is, where do you think these teams stand in college football right now? Where do you believe that they stand? Because when you look at these rankings, Ohio State went up to Montlake and beat Washington today. Miami was off today. Penn State lost to the Ducks. LSU lost. And honestly, LSU's a team that I told y'all. LSU did that Clemson win fool's gold because Clemson don't look that good. And LSU's offense is broken. I believe, you can call me biased if you want to, and there's a case for making Ohio State number 1 because they did just win a national championship. They have not lost, but their offense doesn't look spectacular right now. All they did is leaned on Washington, and they were more talented. They had bigger, stronger guys, and they just leaned on Washington, and they won. So I can make a case that Oregon is the best team in the country right now. But I do have Miami in my rankings last week as the number 1 team. You got Oklahoma, which is a good team. Georgia lost today. Georgia's defense is god awful. And you guys remember, we will be back tomorrow at 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern to talk about all the rest of the games. Actually, yeah. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about all the rest of the games. But where do you think that they stand? Because I mean, I can't make a case. Indiana damn near lost to Iowa today. Ole Miss won, but how are you really feeling about them? Bama won. Yo, this looks like, but this is the best part about it, is that college football right now is as wide open as it has ever been. College football has never been this wide open, and it is absolutely amazing to watch. It is so much fun. It is so much fun. Um, and so, oh yeah, so Hummus Hero. The Buckeye offense doesn't look great yet, but the defense looks so much better. Yes, the Ohio State defense, they look fast, they look physical, they look good. They look good. Now, they're not going to win anything if this offense don't get it together, but this defense can keep them in every single game. Um Now, Bama. I'm not even sure how much I trust Bama because I don't trust Georgia. Georgia's defense, yes, they were able to like shut stuff down in the second half, but in the first half, good God, they're not tackling, they're not physical, they can't run the ball at a high level. None of this is good for Alabama right now. I'm sorry, for Georgia right now. This looks atrocious. Um uh let's look at. Oh, so the other part is, why do you guys believe, eh, because you had so many people pick Penn State to beat Oregon today, and I couldn't figure out why. I was like, why? Like, when you watch the film, they just kept making excuses for this Penn State offense. Oh, Colt Nicky hasn't pulled everything out, but that doesn't help how bad Drew Aller looked. So how are we supposed to square all of that? How are we supposed to look at them and say that they can win? I don't think you can do that. I don't. Um, let's take a peek at before an early look at kind of what happened over the rest of the country as well, because you had um Ohio State Washington 24-6. That game was boring. It was kind of a snoozer, but I was happy about Washington. I still feel good about Washington and Damon Williams, and they're going to be a team that continues to grow. Florida State lost to Virginia in double overtime. Frauds, told you. Oh, but the other team. See, I need y'all to remember what I told y'all too about Illinois and USC. If you watched the preview this week, I told you who was going to win the game and how they were going to do it, and the key to beating USC. You stop USC from being able to run the ball explosively and at a high level, and then you can get them up out of there. It's just the truth. Um, okay, so question came out: does Oregon take over number one in the polls? AP voters typically don't do stuff like that, but because Penn State was ranked so high and Washington was unranked, they may. I do believe that you're going to get Oregon with a lot of first place votes, because they're probably going to get the first place votes from Penn State had five, Oregon had one, so they'll probably get all five of Penn State's number one votes, so that'll put them up at six. And then, LSU will get less votes. They might take a few from Miami and Ohio State. So they might end up with about 18 to 20 first place votes, which might be enough to do it, depending on how everything else shakes out. Any more questions? Oh, yeah. So I was trying to figure out why nobody was picking Oregon to win. And I believe the reason why nobody was picking Oregon to win is because they were like, it's It's like if you're flipping coins, right? If you're flipping coins and you get 10 heads in a row, right? Or you get or you go to Vegas and you go to the roulette table and it's like 8 blacks in a row or 8 reds in a row. And you're like, yo, I'm gonna go put my money on the opposite. It's gotta come up, right? That's what it was. They were like, it's gotta come up for James Franklin aces one time, right? It's gotta come up black, it's gotta come up red. No, that's not the case. Question just came up. Who is the best Who is the best quarterback in college football? I think that you got to put Dante Moore on a short list of guys. I do believe that Jaden my Via at USC is playing extremely well as well. Um, Trying to think who else. Oh, the kid Darian Mintz is doing a good job over there at Duke. John Mateer, but he's hurt right now. Now, obviously, Joey Aguilar is doing a great job in Tennessee's system. Yeah, yeah. It's hard for me to say that Dante Moore is not because remember coming into this season, I put him in my top 10 college quarterbacks, and people were like, "Oh, they fainted." They were like, "George, how could you? He's never started." I was like, "I've seen the kid play in real. I've seen him throw in real life. I know what he's doing up there because I've seen practice and all this stuff." Oh, Josh Hoover over at TCU, absolutely balling as well. So yeah, I think that those are the people because you can't say that a guy that I like a lot, Cade Klubnik, he's not playing super well right now. Drew Aller show ain't on that list. I know a lot of people putting him on there. Nope. Um, and obviously, John Mateer is playing very well, but I do think that he's not the best overall quarterback in terms of passer and all that stuff. Is he a phenomenal college quarterback? 100%. But when I think of the best quarterback in college football, I'm usually thinking about pro potential a little bit. Oh, I missed Carson Beck. Carson Beck is playing great football now as well. You guys make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend about the show. Oh, missed missed another kid. Thanks, Hummus Hero. Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson is absolutely balling over there at Bama. And remember, after the first game, everybody was saying that oh, he's trash. They started the wrong kid. Keelan Russell should be in. Oh, or the kid from Folsom who went to Washington and came down there with DeBoer. No, DeBoer knew what he was doing, and he got him a winner. And somebody said anybody else believing in Indiana. So Indiana almost lost to Iowa today. Now, granted, they won, and Oregon has a bye and then plays Indiana in Eugene. I believe that that's going to be that Indiana's going to take this lesson that they got and try to be better when they go to Eugene. But that's tough sledding playing in Eugene. If it were in Bloomington, we could have a different thing, but this ain't that. Um, Another thing that you guys just said in the chat. Oh, for Oregon, De'Aaron Hill is the running back. He has to be the main person to touch the ball. Noah Whittington, really good pass blocker. Lamar's a very solid back. Like these are people who would be featured backs on damn near most teams in college football. But what I had heard, De'Aaron Hill and Jordan Davison were the most talented backs in the room. And there's a reason why you had two true freshman backs on the field in the biggest game of the season so far, in the biggest game in college football, the most looked forward to game in college football this year. There's a reason why. Just saying. Um, oh, Nasser Treasure just said Oregon USC is going to be lit. I think that Oregon is going to run USC out of the building. After Indiana, is there a team that can beat Oregon? Yes, the answer to that is yes. If you do not show up with your A game, so the rest of Oregon's schedule, they have a bye, then they play Indiana. Then they're at Rutgers. The Rutgers game could be a little bit tough because you're flying out to the East Coast and all of that stuff. And then you have Wisconsin, no chance of winning. They're playing at Iowa. If you let Iowa hang around, they can hang around, but you have to stop the run because they can't pass the ball on you. They cannot. So you have to stop the run against Iowa, and then you'll blow them out. But that could be a tough game. Minnesota looks down this year. They play USC, and then at Washington. Washington is going to fight. That game is going to look a lot like this Ohio State game did. Ohio State, Washington on my lake because Washington is probably going to be fighting for, a potential 9-win season at that point. So yeah, so I do believe that if they don't bring their A game, they absolutely can get beat this year. I predicted them to go. I came into the season with the Ducks. I was like, this is a floor of a team that was 10-2. That's the floor. But then that the ceiling could be 11-1. And well, no, excuse me, that the ceiling was 12-0, but that they would probably fall in the 10-2, 11-1 range. But now that you get past Penn State, I think the floor is 11-1, which is going to put you in the college football playoff. And remember this is that you do not the best part about this for Oregon is, and honestly for Penn State too. And I'll talk about both sides because on one side, the best part about this for Oregon is that wasn't their best football. They're going to grow from this. You have to be playing your best football in December and January. That's when you got to be playing your best. You don't have to be playing your best right now. You just got to win right now. You got to be playing your best then. And for Penn State, this is their opportunity to go back to the drawing board. James Franklin, the definition of James Franklin, bring it in close. I have a message for you. James, this is your opportunity to go back to the drawing board. Penn State fans, this is your opportunity. Go back to the drawing board. And when you get another big game, don't come out playing timid. Come out trying to win the game. I mean, with everything that you got, but Penn State has UCLA next week out here in LA. That's a guaranteed win because they're way too physical for UCLA. Then they play Northwestern. Then they play at Iowa. That Iowa game could be a nightmare for them. And then they play at Ohio State. They're not beating either one of those teams probably with the way that they played football tonight. It's not happening. James Franklin has to go to Colt Nicky. He's got to go to Drew Allar and be like, Drew, you got to drop your nuts, son. We are going to throw the ball 30 times a game sometimes, 35, 40 times a game, and you got to be better. You can't be throwing picks. You can't be. So it's either that or they don't trust them. So they got at Iowa, at Ohio State, then they got to play Indiana at home. And then they got freebies at Michigan State likely, and then at Rutgers, but then they got then they play Nebraska as well. This is a team that could drop. This could be a 9-3 team if they're not careful. Because that Ohio State game in the shoe, they're not winning that game like this. They are not winning that game like this. It is not happening. I mean, somebody said Oregon would run through a wall for Dan Lanning and leave with their foreheads. You are damn right about that. Damn right about that. And the coach, does George have any eligibility left? Man, hell no. Do you see Kenyon Sadiq out there? I was probably the most athletic tight end in Oregon history until this freak show came over. Man, I can't do nothing with that. And now, Heisman Trophy. Yo, Scott Archer, great point. Heisman Trophy. That was a Heisman moment today. I mean, who is your Heisman leader right now? If it ain't Dante Moore. Damon Williams had a chance if they had beaten Washington today. Him or Jonah Coleman could have jumped in the race. And people called me crazy when I said that Dante Moore was going to be a Heisman finalist. I they call me a homer. They'll be like this. I am college football's honesty broker. I will tell you the truth about your team. I will be honest and no bias, even though that. And when y'all will watch me on CW doing studio show pregame, all that stuff, y'all know I tell you the truth because the truth matters. And a lot of these people, the SEC people on ESPN, they'll slant it this way. The Big Ten people are slanted this way. I'm gonna tell you what it is. And when I look at the Big Ten, and the Big Ten is the best conference in football in college football in terms of the top of the conference. And when you look at the top of the conference, bro, it is you got Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State. Indiana looks really good. Michigan is a tough out for everybody. Hell, Maryland's even 4-0 right now. Illinois is tough. USC is significantly improved. Washington's a tough out. Bro, this is a tough conference. And then when you go to the SEC, yeah, Georgia, good football team. Do you think that they can beat Ohio State? Probably not. No, Ohio State's defense is too damn good. LSU, no, they can't beat Oregon. They probably can't beat Penn State if you're really being honest, because they can't score, which is incredible. You got Garrett Nussmeier coming back, Brian Kelly, and Brian Kelly's out there blaming everybody else again. Ole Miss is a good football team. Vanderbilt, Missouri, but if you put and Texas A&M quarterback play, he doesn't throw the ball well deep. He's a playmaker. All those things. It's sketchy around this joint, bro. And Texas, we don't even know what Texas is yet because Arch Manning ain't been playing great football yet. They play Florida next week, and then they got Oklahoma, so they get a freebie with Oklahoma without Mateer likely. They'll probably coast until Mississippi State will put up a fight. Oklahoma will put up a fight. Vanderbilt will put up a fight. Then they play at Georgia. Dude, they got a nice SEC schedule down there in Texas. But the SEC is deep in terms of middling. Like they don't have any elite teams right now, like you see out of Oregon and Ohio State and Miami right now. That's the way I see it's three. Um. Oh, tell me how I called the Thieneman pick 2 weeks before the game. Uh. Oh, the more success Oregon has, the more chances the assistants get hired away. Yep, it is true. It is true. What happened with Kenny Dillingham? He went down to Arizona State, had success, having success. The biggest thing a really good head coach does, obviously, he builds the culture and all that stuff, but he hires really good assistants, hires great assistants. That's what great head coaches do. Nick Saban churns out assistants. You look at his coaching tree, it is amazing. Because he ain't worried about turning over assistants because he can find new ones. And when you are hot like Dan Lanning is, if Will Stein gets the UCLA job or Tosh gets Virginia Tech or whatever else, he's going to be able to go hire the best of the best coordinators because everybody's going to be knocking at that door because that's the easiest way, especially if you are a fired head coach or you're a great defensive coordinator. That's the fastest way because you're going to play in big games. You're going to get noticed. People are going to be, giving you credit for the defense and all the success and all that stuff. So yes, you're going to lose coaches, but that's the best thing. Yes, yep. Dan Lanning did work under Saban at one point, and he worked under Kirby. Now, I would say I don't think Tosh is an elite program head coach candidate. I don't know. We'll see. But is he a head coach candidate? Probably at some point in time. Somebody said, "Can we win with this D line?" Did you watch the game? The D line, Bear Alexander. I apologize, sir. I apologize to you, Bear. I was doubting you. And then in the biggest moment, you had your best game. Amari Washington had your best game. Tuioti was great today. Uh, now, I will say, the one area that I do want to see Oregon clean up a little bit when Betcher or Devin or any of the linebackers, when we meet running backs in the hole, I want on like 4th and 1. Come on, man, making contact. But then we falling. They falling forward a little bit. I need a little more power right there. Now, somebody said we fell apart in the fourth quarter. I do think that Oregon did not have the best fourth quarter, but part of that is because Oregon also has to learn how to win. And this was a moment where you learn how to win. You can't, and that's going to be Dan Lanning's teaching point over the next week. Yeah, that was good. We'll enjoy it for a day. But at the end of the day, this was a growing moment. And I've talked about this on Talking Ducks with Aaron Fintress and everything. He was like, well, I think that this is going to be the moment that they fail and, and they're going to grow. And, well, they won and they're going to grow. It's amazing. Oh, God. Do you know what's going to happen on Tuesday? Ducks versus them? Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Um, yeah, I love it. I love. Oh, you listen. Just so anybody knows who watches the other shows that I do, like the Duck shows and stuff like that, I'm on a group chat with Jordan, Kent, and everybody on here. I've texted Aaron Fintress a couple times. Aaron ain't responded. Aaron is not responding. I wonder why. Come on, man. Um. Oh, somebody. Oh, it's a decent question. Uh, do the Ducks have a problem with conditioning in the fourth quarter? No, no. This was a hard game, and Penn State's a physical team. I do believe that we got tired a little bit, but that's just the way the game goes. But that's why you have to. That's why you can't allow that 5 play, 75-yard touchdown. You got to make them go 11, 12 plays, eat that time up because you allowed the momentum to shift. And then Penn State started to believe a little bit. So yeah. I don't think that they were tired, but that's another fair point. They had not had to play a full game yet. And yes, the emotions of the moment, all of that stuff, it will drain you a bit. Um, Uh, the time is weird. The fourth quarter was a good adjustment into RPO, flood package by Penn State. The Ducks will learn from that 100% because you saw how much the Ducks learned from the Big Ten championship and how to defend Penn State because Penn State kept hurrying up, and Oregon wasn't organized. They hit seams up the middle, they hit big plays because they were not able to get lined up and communicate. They just lined up and were better today. Um, so if any Penn State fans are in there, how do you feel about this game? How do you feel about this game? Because you look on their message board, if you're a message board geniuses and all of that stuff, you are tired of this. You are frustrated, you are tired, and yeah. Okay, Duck fan says that our third down conversion sucked. I would not characterize it as that because Oregon was 6 for 18. Yes, that's only 33%. However, you're playing against one of the top defenses in the entire country. Jim Knowles as defensive coordinator, and you're not just gonna just run through them all game. Like they put up some resistance. Now, imagine this game on a neutral field, or imagine this game in Autzen Stadium. That's the thing. So your third down percentages are going to go up because some of the calls you can't even make and stuff because because you're worried about your protection and your tackles being able to hear the snap count, get off on time so Sutton and those guys don't come around the edge. So you actually have to play the game a little bit based upon the environment. So if this is a neutral site game, I think Oregon scores significantly more points. How could you possibly think otherwise? Yeah, fourth down was great, and I love Dan being aggressive. 5 for 7. They were on their own 30 something. At the beginning of the game, we are like, yo, we going for it. We did not come here. We did not come here to play scared. And I love it. If you're scared, go to church. Um, yeah. But you guys don't. Make sure that you guys come back tomorrow, 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern time for the live show. We're gonna break down the whole weekend. I'm gonna give you my top 10 and everything else. I love it. Oh yeah. So I was thinking about this game in terms of Oregon victories, all-time victories. This has to be up there. This is up there. I would say that this goes above the Ohio State win in Autzen for last year because you have a young team. You went on the road, 3 time zones away, hostile environment. Game day was there. Their crowd is ready. Their crowd is excited. You got so much stuff against you. Love it. Yeah, and honestly, when we look back on this college football season, this will probably be one of the games that people talk about. Like, yo, I remember where I was at when I was watching that game. I remember what I saw in that overtime. And yeah, it was. Oh, somebody said, but the UW game in '94 still the best of all time with the pick. Yeah, that was. Yeah, that is gonna go big. And the reason why I say that it was bigger than the Ohio State game, and I was on the sideline for the Oregon game. I was going crazy. The only reason why I think that this may have been bigger is because it was on the road, and road victories are just so incredibly like in that type of environment with everything going on it. Yeah, I think that those are hard to come by. Yeah. Oh, but you guys, yes, come back tomorrow. I'm getting ready to celebrate tonight. Let's go. Oh yeah, Oregon's for sure top three. Somebody said playing against Cam and the Natty was pretty big. No, that wasn't. It was a big moment, but it was. Oh man, it was. Oh, I was at that game. Broke my heart. Dwyer was down. Oh, Noah being down is greater than Dwyer was down. Just so you know. Oh yeah, the Michigan '03 with the Statue of Liberty was a great. The Oklahoma game, even though we skated on on that with the onside, yeah, yeah, those were some really good games too. Um, and I just want to talk a bit before I go off about this program. So there was a lot of people because I was a highly recruited kid out of high school. People thought I was crazy. So how I got to Oregon was that this was Coach Oz, the tight end coach, and Coach Campbell. So they broke down all my top schools like Florida State, Wisconsin, UCLA, Arizona, like they were like, yo, they broke down how many passes that their tight ends caught versus where they were ranked and all this stuff. And so that's how they got me to take a trip up there. I took the last trip up there. It was right before signing day. So signing day was on that Wednesday, in February. The weekend before, I took the trip to Oregon. I remember coming back. I was on the plane with my parents, and I was kind of frustrated. I was like, ugh. I was like, my mom was like, George, what the hell's wrong with you? And I said, man, I think I should go to Oregon. And she was like, I think so too. I'm so happy that we're all in agreement. And mind you, I had offers from Stanford, all of this stuff. And I decided to go to Oregon. And honestly, it was the best decision that I could have made. It worked out well. It's worked out well post life, everything else. And one of the best parts about it is so I go up to Oregon. That was 99 was my freshman year. That was the year the uniforms changed. And that was when everything, changed. Well, actually, everything changed prior to that because of a meeting that you're going to get a documentary about. So teaser there. And So I decided that I was going to go there, and it was like a relief. And when you think about where the program was then, when we went to go play in the Fiesta Bowl in 2001, well, actually, prior to that, we beat Texas in the Holiday Bowl. Then next year, you end up in the Fiesta Bowl. We were number two in the AP and in the coaches poll. BCS put us third. We should have been playing in the Natty against Miami. But when you look at the in 20 years, what Oregon football has done, like Oregon football is in a position, like people are used to seeing Oregon in the top five. Like you're gonna get the benefit of the doubt now. You're that type of program to where you get the benefit of the doubt. When people are gonna be like, yo, you can't leave Oregon out of the playoff. That was never said. It was like, oh, I don't know if we should put them in. But now it's gonna be like, you can't leave them out of the playoff if it's between them and like, NC State or something. Like, nah, they should be in. Kind of like they were doing with Alabama last year. And you look at what the program has become in such a short period of time. And you look at the coaches. You had continuity of coaches for so long, and then you ended up with Helfrich get fired. Then you had Willie Taggart come in, which was the best thing that happened to Oregon football in terms of that transition was Willie Taggart coming in. And I know a lot of people don't like Willie Taggart and all this stuff, but here's the truth. Willie Taggart did something. He made everybody believe that Oregon could win a national championship. I'm sorry, that they could recruit a top 10 class to Eugene when you had weak ass Scott Frost say that it couldn't be done. You can't recruit a top 10 class to Oregon, blah, blah, blah. Proving him wrong. He couldn't even do it at Nebraska. Oh, I took the wrong job. Anyways, so then Willie Taggart comes in. And then when Willie leaves, he leaves Levitt and he leaves Mario Cristobal. Mario Cristobal gets the job. Mario Cristobal, relentless recruiter, and installed physicality in the program. Now, mind you, the offenses weren't high flying like we were used to. And then he leaves and goes to Miami, and you get Dan Lanning. So Oregon keeps upgrading, upgrading, upgrading. And you think about where the toilet bowl ain't that long ago, 0-0 with Oregon State. It ain't that long ago. And now it is one of the premier college football destinations, draws on television, merchandise, everything. As a former player, this is what we believe to be true. And yes, we won a lot of big games, but it is different when the when your dudes are dudes. Alabama was winning because they had Amari Coopers and Julio Joneses and the dude that was Will Anderson and all the other top first round picks. They were winning because their 5 stars turned great and their 4 stars turned great and their roster was just like amazing. And to see Oregon's roster now, you got true freshmen like starting at corner, at running back, all of this stuff. And you're like, oh my God, this is turning into a factory. Had what, 10 draft picks last year? Never would have thought that would have been able to be. And you might have, I know the team's younger, but you have at least 5 or 6 this year. Man, and then you had 3 Oregon quarterbacks starting in the NFL last week, and Marcus balled. Even though the people in this Marcus sucks. No, Marcus still balling. Love it, man. Love it. So yeah, and the Derrick Henrys, uh, all of that, and then Cristobal, two chains, got Kayvon Thibodeau and other dudes. It's just amazing, man. It's just amazing. And when you have them dudes coming out and balling like that, I love to see it. You guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, celebrate. Y'all come back tomorrow, 4:30. Pacific, 7:30 Eastern time. We're gonna break down the whole thing. I'm gonna give you the top 25, where everybody stands. Oh yes. Oh my God. I am praying if Georgia makes the playoffs, I swear to God, I hope Oregon gets to play them and then play like Miami in the national championship. That would be just the kiss. Y'all have a good night, man. Peace out.